settled into
Wasn't
it.
a fan.
Yeah, you'll get used to
hear
it. You'll get used to it. It does take a while. But yeah, thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me.
But yeah, you were saying Cody doesn't talk. You were talking shit about all my guests, actually. All my previous guests. Eric.
Mate, got stuff on him. Don't you worry.
You got stuff on him.
Eric's not his real name.
Eric's not his real name.
No.
What is it? Is it like a full Asian style name?
He had it as his Facebook name for a little while, and he tried to claim that he did that so kids didn't know who he was.
Oh, you're not joking?
I'm not joking.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's got a fake alias.
Yeah.
No shit.
Eric's not his real name.
Can you out it?
Yeah.
What is-
I'm sure most people already know after I've just said that.
What is it?
Eldrick.
Oh, Eldrick. Yeah.
It's his real name.
Yeah, of course it is. Eldrick. He does suit it.
Yeah.
Crypto.
It's hilarious.
Undercover crypto multi-billionaire. Store owner. Russian spy.
Oh, yeah. He's beautiful pain in the ass.
And what do
I
you,
love
and what, and you're here, Eric hooked me up with you because I was asking him, I was like, oh, if you know anyone interesting, send them my way. And the first person he said was you, and you skate for MV2?
Yeah, for years and years. Actually, thanks to, I don't know if you remember Chris Palgrave.
I'm not heaps big in the like skateboarding scene.
Well, he worked there forever. And he, I don't know, it was just his idea originally. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to do that. And I was still living down in Victor Harbour. And yeah, eventually he teed it up after Eric knocked me back a couple of times, and then bumped into Eric at Flagstaff Hill Skate Park, like Minkara Park with the dog park next to it.
Yeah.
And I was just rolling around doing things, and then he went down there to watch someone else to hook them up, I assume, and then ended up being like, oh, you should come down too. And yeah, the rest is history.
And how you've been skating since you were a kid, obviously.
Yeah, I think, like, I was skating a little bit when I was like 12 and 13, but it was on my mates' boards because I never had one.
Yeah.
So we go down to, like I said, I grew up down that way, so I lived in Port Elliot.
That'd be a surfing town, big surfing town.
Yeah, and it wasn't the biggest surfer, but a little bit, you know.
They lend themselves to each other though, don't they?
Like that whole area.
Nah, like surfing and skateboarding kind of fucking like would lend itself to each other, like the skills.
Yeah, somewhat. It's different. Like, I'm fucking shit scared of sharks. I'm like, oh, deep water.
Surfers are a different breed because they don't give a fuck. They'll go out there 2 degrees, 150, 200 meters out, and just paddle. And it's like, you look like a seal. You look like a seal, and they're wearing a fucking wetsuit. It's
Shark bait.
It's crazy.
I just can't handle that thought.
But yeah, so you're 12, 13, you picked up like your friend's skateboards and was fucking around a bit.
Skating with my mates like Casey Vanderstelt and those guys and Travis, and that was really cool. And then we just used to bike it to Middleton Halfpipe or skate around the streets of Port Elliot. And then eventually I got one, and then, yeah, hooked. Absolutely hooked. Like the gnarliest drug you've ever had. I got that hooked on it for forever.
I went down a massive skateboarding hole. I got heaps of respect for skateboarders because I went down a massive hole. I was watching, is it Nigel Houston?
Yeah.
I just went down a rabbit hole a couple years ago.
Well, he's just blown his knee out.
Really?
Yeah, he posted something yesterday. He's just instantly in with surgery,
It does not matter how good you are.
No, it sneaks up on you.
Yeah.
It's just there. It's always there. It's like, oh, when am I going to get you?
But they're just different. It's just such a weird skill to have. Like, you can just manipulate this fucking board.
Look, it's the most useless wooden toy thing in the fucking world, and I love it. And sometimes I sit back and I'm like, how much time have I put into this thing which essentially does the weirdest...
It's just such a risk of injury. Does that, as you get older, does the risk of injury interfere with your skating?
In my head?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
But like when you're 18, you fucking fall off a board, crack your head, and you bounce back up, and you just go again.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I remember down there, because when I was really young, I looked up to people like Corey Kelly and Simon Hodges. They were the local guys down there. And I was just finished school for the day. I think I would have been 15. I was doing a frontside flip off of a quarter pipe to flat. So off it, and and I landed with which is usually my back foot, which frontside flip, it's got a 180 in it as well. So your back foot becomes front foot. I landed that in the middle of the board and the other one on the kick, and I snapped my board. And as I did that, it zinged out and I smashed my head because it's like a 5-foot quarter straight onto the ground, split my eyebrow right open.
Fuck.
It it didn't feel it though, because I think it's like the sudden impact. Just kind of got up and realised, oh, I'm bleeding, you know. But basically go get stitches and whatnot. Mate had to call my mum. Was like, oh, take him to the doctors. And the doctor's in there just giving me this gnarly guilt trip about not wearing a helmet. And I wasn't, fair enough. But it's just turns out that doctor's just a big cricket nut and couldn't understand what I was doing.
Because skating blew up. I remember in my age bracket, I'm 29 this year, so my age bracket, when we were in year 7 and 8, is when YouTube started coming around.
Yeah.
And that's when, like, skateboarding for, like, my age group kind of really took off, because that's when Jackass and stuff started kind of forming as well. So, like, Bam Margera and Steve-O were doing all this fucking crazy shit on skateboards. And then we'd go to our mates' houses and they'd try... I could never skate, but they were maniacs on skateboards. Like, a lot of my friends would do that just downhill skating.
Yep.
Where they'd go at, like, ridiculous speeds, because I used to live in Hallett Cove.
Like on longboards and whatnot.
Oh, yeah, all those really small ones even.
Oh.
Like the pointy ones.
Little banana boards.
Yeah, and because I lived in Hallett Cove, one of my friends, Jacob, he was the scariest fucking guy to watch on it, because he has just had no fear. In Hallett Cove, you've been there, it's like that, it's perfect for that kind of skateboarding. And he would just zip down these streets at like probably 50 k's an hour.
And like, so death-defying.
And we're like 14, 15 years old. So like if you get hit by a car, you just get back up. Like it's pretty hectic. But yeah, skating just took off, especially with obviously like Tony Hawk skating games and all that. That was massive for skateboarding.
Well, he's made $1 bazillion off of that stuff.
He's the skateboarder.
Good on him.
Is he a sellout in the skating community?
It depends where you sit on it. Like after a while, think about how much he has destroyed himself, pushed a sport essentially, or well, that's another debatable thing. You know, people get shitty about you calling it a sport, but yeah, whatever. He is an athlete, and if you have people that pamper to you and get you ready to skate again, you're an athlete.
You are
right?
an athlete. If whoever says you're not a fucking athlete, you get on a board, go on a half pipe, and do fucking 8 spins in a row, and then land it.
Yeah, exactly. Like people still hate that thought, and that's a big controversy in it. But yeah, I think he's done a lot more good than anything else. Think about how many people wouldn't have even picked up a board. Yeah. Or, you know, on the other side of it, how many people he's helped out just by being there.
Just put the mic a tiny bit closer.
Just a little bit.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so you got like, and then you got like your Nigel Houstons and all that who are just technicians.
Yeah. Well, he's just nuts.
He's loaded, isn't he, as well? He's very financially well off.
He is now.
Because he wins everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Is that it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't actually know him.
I was watching a video on him when he was like 10 years old. And he had dreadlocks and he was fucking just shredding. I think he did like an X Games at 12 or 13 or something.
I think, he was... Because from 9 till 10, he had the last part in an Element video called Elementality. Like Bam Margera was before him, and then he had the last part.
Which is that the biggest part?
That's the banger part, yeah.
No
he had
shit.
the banger part.
Yeah, right.
And he's like a 10-year-old kid.
And we were saying before off air, we were saying that you actually went to the X Games qualifiers.
Yeah. Flopped. I think I got like 12th. Which
Out
actually
of
isn't
how
that
many?
bad. I can't remember, but there was a few people there.
How would you have to be first to qualify? Or was it like a top
I think
8?
it was two
people out
possibly.
of it.
Yeah,
that's not that bad out of all the best skaters in the world at that current time.
Another young dude from Adelaide named Jay Runciman, he went as well. So we just chucked up together and PL sent us over and paid for our accommodation. Which
Shout
was
out
sick.
to Pirate Life. You should sponsor the podcast.
Yeah.
I'll drink a whole carton live on air.
That'd be a really interesting
Me
podcast.
and one of my mates actually. Have you ever tried to do 100 shots of beer in 100 minutes?
No, but I've heard that people do
Fuck. Oh, mate. I have
And don't
failed.
feel well.
I have failed every single time. I've tried it, I think, 3 times now, and I can drink pretty well. The first time I got to like
a professional drinker.
62, 65, I think the first time on my 18th birthday I got to. Then I made it to 70, and then me and my missus tried it once, and I was that drunk after 60. She bailed out at like 40, and I got up to like 70 shots, and I started getting violently ill. and I was like throwing up, and I was making her stand next to the toilet and pour me shots every minute. So just to keep going, because I needed to finish it. And I got up to like 87, and I was like, I can't do it. I can't do the 13 minutes. It just gets you. So me and one of my mates are going to do it live on the podcast in a couple of weeks. We're going to try and finish it.
I'll watch that.
It's fucking hard. It's so hard.
I couldn't do it. I'm always been a Cadbury as far as that
really
goes. Yeah,
That's
I can't drink
though.
lots. It doesn't work with me.
I think I get pissed pretty quick. I just don't have that switch in my brain that tells me to stop. And that's like, I just go on full autopilot.
Your gut doesn't tell you no?
No, I'm not much of a vomiter. I'm not a hell big vomiter. I'll tack vom every now and then.
Yeah.
But
my gut just goes,
really?
Fuck you.
How old are you?
I'm 32 on the 22nd.
How bad's your first hangover when you realise you're old? Have you had that one?
Yes. Actually, the first really, really bad hangover was after the MV2 video premiere. I think it was like 2017. We had it at the Backpackers in Glenelg. Yeah. It's the 5 years. That was heaps of fun. So we all filmed like a little video part and whatever and did the things. And Pirate Life actually sponsored that as an event before I was a part of it. And yeah, absolutely just got shit faced. And it was just, I woke up in my doggy door, like in my laundry through the doggy door, 1 foot out, both shoes off, my long sleeve shirt off around my arm like this.
So you can paint the picture of how you tried.
Yeah, just so you can see. I was like this, and I have to jump a fence to get into my backyard, which I don't know how I did it. It's pretty high to go over that side. And then my good mate, Nick, his girlfriend at the time, stayed over as well. Nick made it back. He was fine. She came in, and I don't know if I just got there, or I think I was there for a bit because I was freezing and my foot was soaked because it was raining and it was out the doggy door. Anyway, and I'm laying there like this, and she's like, "Beau, you all right?" And I'm like, "Oh," completely destroyed. And just went and had a shower and hopped into bed. And then Eric made me work that Sunday.
What a prick!
But he was heaps nice to me. I've got to give him credit. Yeah, he's like,
right.
"Go have a nap under the desk," and I was like, "Thanks, man."
I used to get stitched when I was an apprentice. I used to work at when I was an apprentice chef. When I was 17, I started, or 16 and a half, I started. When I turned 18, I used to go out and get fucking loose. But I used to go get loose with the owner of the restaurant. Like, we'd all go out together. This place called Osteria on Glen Osmond Road.
Oh, yeah.
It's not there anymore. But it was so busy, and it was such a cool place to work. But my head chef, he was a sick cunt. He was one of the owners as well. Still friends with him. His name's Adam Zolo. We would go out and get fucking obliterated, and I had work in the morning, and he knew I had work in the morning, and he would egg me on, and he would egg me on and egg me on and egg me on. I'd get home at 6 in the morning, I'd get up for work at 8 in the morning, I'd drive to work, and then he'd fucking hammer me. He's like, "Yo, you hungover?" And I'd be like, "You were with me." Like, I'm hungover.
You made this happen.
Yeah, but he called it character building. It wasn't bad, but fuck, some days you just wanted to crawl into a hole and die.
Just torture.
Just the other weekend, I can't remember, it was a while ago now, but it was within the last couple months. I went out, you know when you accidentally get drunk?
Yeah, done it a couple of times.
Like, you fucking go out for like 2 beers, and then it just escalates. So that's when you're the worst, when you don't expect it.
Yeah.
And I didn't have my keys. I didn't have my keys for some reason, and I was like, fuck, I got to jump the fence again. So that fence on the side there, it's so sharp, and it's like a 1.6 metre fence, so it's pretty high. So I had to jump on a bin, jump over. My dog Bruno didn't know who it was, so he's trying to bite me at this point.
He's freaking out.
He's freaking out. I've fallen over, smashed my head on the concrete. I've gone to that table out there in the patio, and I've just kind of fallen asleep for an hour. And then
You're like the token credit dude to be like, "Don't drink like me."
I can't do it anymore. I used to be able to do it like 4 or 5 days in a row though.
Whoa.
But like, I used to go on massive benders, but I can't do it anymore.
Animal.
Yeah, I used to fucking, like, if I had one gift, it would have been, I just used to be able to bender like just constantly. Go. But I can't do it anymore. I know some blokes my age that can still do it, and it makes me sick looking at it.
How old are you guys now?
12. We're all turning 29 this year. Yeah. All my mates.
Yeah. Couple behind me.
But it just gets you. Like,
Sneaks up.
it's like 25, 26, you start losing a little step. Like, shit starts hurting. But then when you turn 28, you wake up with an injury.
You sneeze and you're like, oh, that shouldn't hurt.
Legit. Like, you have a really big cough or sneeze and you're like, my neck. You're like, fucking hell. You just take it all for granted.
Yeah, look, and you throw skateboarding in the mix. I just hurt all the time.
What was your worst injury? Was that bang on your head? That wouldn't have been your worst.
No, the one that probably sucked the most, because I've been pretty lucky with knees and stuff. Like, I've had tears in things, but I haven't ruptured anything. What are you knocking on?
The wood.
Huh. Knocking.
Knock the wood, just in case.
Yeah, actually.
Don't want to fucking blow out your knee tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I've got... There's things down there, but they're manageable. Relatively fit and healthy, so that's good. But I was... The day before my 22nd birthday, got kind of suckered in / I want to say guilt-tripped into it, because I was doing a demo up at Elizabeth for a youth work thing. There was a few of us there. It was pretty cool, but that skate park sucks. And it sucked. Sorry, guys, if you like it. But anyway, one of the other guys is like, oh, Beau, you should table slide this hubber. A hubber's like a ledge that goes down. I think it was down a bank. I got onto it, sort of stuck, jumped off, went to go to a cartwheel, so threw all my weight onto my hands. As I've gone into the cartwheel, I snapped my arm in half, like, through the elbow. So I've it fully dislocated. And as I gone down like that, I felt it fall, and my hand, the back of my hand, was touching my shoulder.
Oh my
and
fucking
it was just
God.
Fucking so painful.
That's just, if that doesn't deter you, but skaters just don't get
completely
deterred.
out. Oh, it rattled me for a while though, because it was like,
Makes you hesitant.
you start to be like, how did my arm ever stay in its socket? Because in my head, and as well, and I think this might have helped, technically it wasn't the skating that did it. I went to go do a cartwheel being an idiot. Like, taking the pressure. So I don't know if that helped me come back faster. Do you know, in my head? But I woke up the next morning on my birthday, had a cast from my wrist up to here, threw up from the fentanyl they gave me, because I remember the dude's like, and I'm just going to put this in you, and I'm like, you know, being funny, because they asked me what my pain was, and I'm like, oh, look, it's a lot, but I'll be alright. It's not my first injury. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. Oh, he's being coy, and as he's gone to put it in, I've noticed it's white, and I'm like, you're putting your semen in me, doctor. And then I was out. I don't remember anything else.
Oh, the worst injury I've ever seen. Not on video. I remember there was this viral video years ago, like 10 years ago, of this skater. You know those chains? There'll be like a chain fence, but
hanging ones?
It'll hang.
Oh.
Have you seen that fucking video of that skateboarder trying to jump over it and land back on his skateboard? He does it. He jumps over it, lands
Disgusting.
back. Then he comes back and he jumps and his leg catches and he fucking rips his femur bone clean off his hip. Like his leg, his back of his heel touches his fucking back. And that was the most. I seen my mate break both of his wrists on the half pipe at
Both same time.
Yeah,
but not wipe your bum for a month.
Yeah,
oh, sorry, 6 months.
Is it West Beach? Massive half pipe. I seen him try and drop in on that, and his first reaction obviously was to do that. Both wrists gone.
Is it someone that skated often, or
nah?
No. So it generally happens either you've had like a big break, or like for big injuries like that, or you're coming back from it or something.
Do you fuck with the vert kind of style?
No, I haven't yet. It's on my to-do list. It will happen. Justin was for a bit, like Justin Edwards. He got really good at it.
He went to Seaford High.
Yeah. Like
he's a year
Justin.
older than me. He used to be really...
He's just turned 30.
He used to be really good. I always used to see videos of him.
He's that guy that always will be. It doesn't matter how
Is
much
he skating
time he
still?
has off. I think he's a little bit. But end of last year, he came back again for a bit because he had a pretty big injury. Ended up like snapping his.
I used to
kneecap.
see. I'm pretty sure it was him. I used to see videos of him jumping off fucking roofs with a skateboard and shit.
He's just injury prone, but he's amazing. Like he's
Some
so
people-
fucking good.
In every sport,
At everything he does.
in every sport though, there's always that one person that's just amazing, but they're so injury prone. Like they're like for some reason, but it's probably because they take the biggest risk.
Yeah, he's also a tank, so it kind of works.
Yeah,
for him.
he's always been a big motherfucker,
He just goes for it, and you're like, wow. But he's been good since.
Are all the new skate... Because there's a new skate park on Flaxmill Road, isn't there?
Yeah.
All of these new skate parks and shit, because I remember the only skate park down south really used to be Seaford Skate Park.
And Little Cliff Ave, like
And Cliff Ave, but I used to go to Seaford Skate Park because we always used to go get para at Macca's and walk to Seaford Skate Park. That's the only reason I used to go there. But it always used to be packed and lively. But now I notice when I'm driving to work and shit, I see all the kids at Flaxmill. It's always pretty packed on a weekend.
Yeah.
Like, so is there a lot of like up and coming skaters?
There will be. That place is going to be a breeding ground for it. And the new Hallett Cove one too, because they knocked down.
Where's the one at Hallett Cove?
Where the old one was. They knocked it down late last year and just put a skate park up straight away.
Is that near the shops?
Is it Capella Drive?
Capella Drive?
Yeah,
Something like that, because I used to live on Grand Central and vaguely remember it's near the train station maybe.
Getting closer down to where Eric's place is.
Yeah, Merino-ish area. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. But yeah, so is that the what would you say is the best skate park in Adelaide? Is this going to trigger? Do people get defensive? Is it like
People
a
do
gang?
get weird
Is it
about
like
it,
a bit of a gang?
Like, for me personally, like, for years and years and years, it would have been Osborne. That would have been the answer, because we had nothing else.
Osborne up east?
Well, we had other things. Yeah, going toward, like, just past Port Adelaide.
Yeah.
That was the first, probably, real good one in, the last decade, just before that they started doing.
Help yourself as well.
Oh, Will. Cheers. But then, I don't know. It just depends. It depends how you're feeling. Some people love West Beach still. Like, oh, West Beach, yeah, it's the best. Or,
It's just cults, isn't it? It's like little mini cults.
pretty much.
Yeah.
And I sort of, like, just float around it. Like, I go and skate Flagstaff a fair bit
Will
still.
you be allowed to skate the new BMX thing they've done?
Probably not. They're pretty, that's a bit of a cult thing as well.
Is it that you know the one near the Vic that they built? That,
yeah, no way they're gonna.
No way.
They won't let skateboards on that.
That'd be so cool though.
But-
They fucked it up. They have to redo it all.
Yeah, someone told me that.
I don't know the logistics of it, but one of my mates, his son Tice, his son Tice, it's his birthday soon, the little dude.
Happy birthday, little dude.
Yeah, it's next month, and he's just a mad little anything with two wheels. He fucking loves it, like motorbikes, BMX. It's so weird seeing a kid this big being better on a bike than me.
It's insulting, isn't it?
Like, it's fucked. But he loves it. And so they took him there. I don't know if you have to pay a membership or whatever, but they took him there a couple times, and then he told me that they fucking have to, like, resurface it or something because they fucked it.
Oh.
Yeah, what a wait. That was like, it was millions. And they won't let you on it because that would be a cool little video.
They won't. Like, the same one at Happy Valley, they don't, but you do. Like, if you're there and nobody's there, you give it a whirl.
Give it a
and
whirl.
it is fun. I suck at that sort of stuff, like big airs continuously and doing that stuff anyway. I was never really good on that on bikes either. So seeing kids do it, I think it's awesome, but I suck at it.
Did the Olympic Games, was that this year? Or last year? Skateboarding was in it, wasn't it?
It was this year.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was.
this
It
year.
was because I was watching the skateboarding events in it. And, like, Nigel Houston didn't qualify. Like, it was
You just,
real.
you just don't know.
Yeah.
You don't always do
very,
amazing.
like, and I think the Asian countries, like, fucking nailed it.
Yuto Horogomi. I'm pretty sure Yuto took it. He's sick.
They're masters
He's
of every
sick.
craft, though. Was he Japanese?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I didn't even know that, but you can tell that it's Japanese, because Japanese people, whatever they do, they just dedicate their whole fucking life to it.
masters.
Just masters of every craft they try. Yeah, just gurus. But yeah.
Insane. I was watching that, and we had a few of, like, our guys there. And then Kat Williams, actually, she's an Adelaide girl. She was originally going to be in the Olympics since... for years and years, always pegged to be, but she has a back issue, so she's actually thrown in the towel skating, and she coaches and I guess she's more of like a mentor for a bunch from there, like Hayley Wilson, who did really well in the girls. So Kat goes over there still now and is a big part of all of the training and whatnot. So it's cool to have local people doing that. It's an insane thing though to think Olympics.
That's cool, though. It's deserved. It's a fucking hard sport.
I think it's sort of like the opposite. The Olympics probably needed these things, like snowboarding, skateboarding, and surfing and BMX, keep it relevant.
You think about it, though. Not everyone, but if you give everyone an hour training, you'll teach them how to kick a football.
Yeah.
That's the most basic thing in football that you need to know.
Yeah.
If you give everyone an hour training, maybe 30% will be able to ollie in an hour.
Yeah, or maybe getting the kick hit the ground.
I've been trying to ollie for 9 years. I bought a skateboard from Eric like 3 years ago. It's in my garage. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do it. And my missus was like, you're going to fucking kill yourself. And I was there for hours. I just can't do it. I just don't understand.
Well, let's make it happen. That's a thing.
Before I was talking to my missus, I just dropped her off in town. And I was like, should I get him to like do a kickflip over me?
I mean, I can. I didn't bring my board though.
Oh, that's right. I got one. I don't know how good it is, but I paid a bit for it. Eric hooked me up.
Yeah.
I love the look of skateboards. I'm going to hang it once I get a proper room.
They can be so expensive.
Oh, well.
If you go upper class.
What's stuff, like a project, like your skateboard?
Oh, mine would probably be
trucks and everything.
If I was gonna like my current setup, it'd be in the 300s, which is kind of like
that's not too bad.
No, that mine's alright, but I don't know. Yeah, it'd be like mid threes.
And you'd compete with that one if you were competing.
I'd skate it. Yeah.
It's just what you're
don't get
comfortable
anything
with,
more
isn't
special.
it?
Yeah,
it's just what you're comfortable with at the end of the day too.
So I skate really small boards again now. So
yeah,
I love it. Everyone just thinks I'm nuts.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, nah, this is sick.
Is it harder?
People just don't feel comfortable on them. Like, most people start on smaller boards.
Yeah.
And I did as well, and then you go bigger. And then in the last 3 years, I'm like, nah, I'm going back to my roots. I'm going back small, and I've fucking loved it since.
Skateboarding scares the shit out of me. And big wave surfers.
Oh, mate,
they're the craziest.
I was watching some of those with my kids, and they're pretty much just riding a tsunami.
I got one coming on. The big wave surfer.
Oh, who?
Oh,
come on, leaks.
He's not I don't think he's a pro, but he surfs big fucking waves. His name's Wayne Cleveland.
Oh, okay.
But he was on. I've seen him on Facebook on a clip because he does. He was on this talk show, and he spent. If I get this wrong, sorry, but he spent 16 years in prison. Because he used to traffic cocaine from the US to Australia, and now he obviously done his time, and now he has like he does inspirational talks to children as to, like, not to go down that path and
don't bring drugs,
don't do it, and he's like got these like reform things for criminals like Crim Fit, I think, where when they come out they go to fitness rather than life crime. I'm just from what I'm seeing, that's what I'm seeing. But yeah,
that's pretty cool though.
I was messaging him today, and he offered to fly down to Adelaide to do the podcast, so that's going to be cool. But he said he's a surfer from New South Wales.
I'm going to look him up now.
Well, I was in my head. I was like, do you remember the Bra Boys?
Yeah.
Was that? Well, that was a thing, wasn't it? I was thinking about it today. I was like, did I imagine that? Was that a movie? That was like it's Australian, isn't it?
It was a bit, I don't know.
Was it a doco?
I'm not heaps informed about it, but it's definitely a thing.
Was it a doco or a movie, though? I can't remember.
Wasn't it a movie as, like, formulated as a documentary?
Was it?
I'm probably wrong.
I have no idea. And then I was thinking of the Lords of Dogtown.
I mean, yeah, that was a thing.
Huge.
That was a real thing.
That was huge.
I mean, I don't know how much of it's actually true, but
it's
meant to be a true story.
It was. We used to froth that movie when we were younger
on the banana boards. No, it's sick. Being around back then would have been rough too. It was pretty much just surf
based
gangs
in the
hating
80s.
each other.
That was in the 80s.
Was it like
70s?
Yeah, like early 70s through to like 80s.
Because the start of skateboarding was basically surfers in longboards doing pools, wasn't it?
On shortboards, yeah.
On shortboards,
no wave
sorry.
days.
Yeah.
Like it's flat.
That's how it started.
That's sidewalk
and then
surfing.
you got those freaks that came in, like, what was it? Is it
Excuse me.
Andy? Rodney Mullen?
Yeah, he was a bit after that, but yeah, he pretty much invented
street skate.
Pretty much anything street skating, grassroots, you can put back to.
No one still can do that, can they?
The stuff he does. There's some people that do similar stuff, but not like he did it.
That's one of the people that, because in all sports, anyone who paved the way, they just don't have the technology or the technology in skating now would make
Is that your dog?
Yeah, he's just checking in on us.
Knocked a wall down.
Yeah. Like the skating now, the boards themselves would make skating so much easier than it would have been in the 90s.
Have you ever tried to flip one of those boards back then? Oh my gosh.
But then you got people like that Rodney Mullen who stand up to time. It's rare.
He's that 1 in a million that broke through and was so obsessive. I remember reading something where he apparently dropped a fork and instantly invented, he didn't call it this at the time, but invented the kickflip from the thought of it. He dropped a fork.
He invented the kickflip.
Yeah, the first one. So he dropped his fork and it flipped, or it bounced and it flipped. And I think as it flipped, it might have like nicked his finger.
And he was like, if I hit it this way...
Yeah, because there was other versions of flip tricks where you'd like use your toes in weird ways and roll it over. But yeah, apparently he knocked it and it flipped, and in his head he's like, oh. But I think they called it like the magic flip.
No shit.
Like, I was reading a book that he had. I think it was called The Mutt. I don't know. I got it in high school, but it has like memoirs from him. And...
I used to love, well, obviously, I know all this because I used to fucking play heaps Tony Hawk.
That's what got me into skating.
Really?
Yeah. Just got obsessed with THPS. And then 3 came out, and that's when I finally bit the bullet, and I was like, I have to not my mate's boards anymore. Like, Mom, get me one. And then Dad showed up with my brother, and it's like, we got your board. It's like, sick.
Oh.
And then it was just pretty much hooked from there.
So is that pretty much your full-time job, almost?
No. I work as a disability support worker.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course.
At AJ Holistic. On Beach Road again. So we left Beach Road with MB2. 2 years later, I'm back there with the new company.
Never escape it.
You can't get away.
Hole. It's a fucking
hole. And you know who I saw the other day? Scotty. I haven't seen Scotty in ages. He's marrying, though.
He stopped fucking coming in.
You didn't give him money, did you?
No, he doesn't ask for money. I used to get Farmers Union iced coffees, and he used to come in and we'd chat shit, and he'd look at the fridge and I'd be like, Scotty, go grab one. And he'd always come in like every second, third day.
Was it the classics he was into?
He's only into classics.
Yeah.
And one day, he came to the shop and we stopped stocking him. And
I can see where this is going.
We stopped stocking him, and he because we got nippies, and he was like real dirty. He was like, "What? There's none." And I was like, "The iced coffee cows aren't like producing any iced coffee, Scotty." And he was like, those fucking cows. And I was like, okay. And I was like, do you want a feel-good chocolate? And he was like, he looks at me and goes, I guess. And he goes and grabs one. And I'm like, all right. And he hasn't been back ever since, the fucking asshole. He's a good dude, though. He's a weirdo.
He's always come into the shop as well, and he'll come up and he'll be like, oh, I see a big guy left me a little something. You know,
he's Eric's younger brother, I heard. Twice removed.
But so he'd come in and do that, and this one day he I think I was just on Eric Whitebeat now, and he's come in and asked me, and I was busy doing something. I'm like, no, Scotty, he hasn't. And he's turned around, and all I can hear him is going like, fuck, and he's walked out the door. This was a few years back, just off it. I'm like, oh, I didn't say I wouldn't.
You know the you know the gunnery on Beach Road?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he comes in when they've been open for like fucking 3 months. And he comes in, and I'm always in there, in and out. I've got my gun license. I love guns, so I'm always in and out of there. They're good dudes. And fucking Scotty comes in one day and he's like, Sav, come here. And I'm like, what mate, what's going on? And he's wearing his little Superman outfit, and he's like coming, and he always flirting with all my staff and shit. And your hair looks so nice today.
Oh, you shaved today, brother?
Shaved today,
he's
nice.
got his just staples.
And he's like, Sav, come here quick. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? He's like, you see that place over there? And he looks at the gun shop, and he's looking over his shoulder like someone's watching him. He's like, you see that place? And I'm like, yeah, Scotty, what's going on? He's like, do you know that they sell real guns? And I was like, yeah, Scotty, there's a real gun shop. And he's like, no, because I was under the... Like, he didn't say it like this. He's like, I thought they sold toys. And I tried to walk in there.
Oh, no.
And they didn't let me in because those are real bullets. So I'm going up to the police station right now to make a complaint. There's guns on Beach Road. And I was like, all right, Scotty.
He gets real heated.
He gets so fucking heated. Whoever doesn't know Scotty, most people in this podcast like that are listening won't know Scotty. How he's like...
He's a down south legend. Like, there's no other way to put it.
Every area has one.
Yeah.
He's the dude, he's got somewhat... I don't know what he's got. Like, it's inbreeding or something. Like, something's going on.
I don't know how true that is.
I don't know. That's the story.
There's always
everyone has the story.
But I think he's like... I have this theory that he's just playing everyone and he's a multimillionaire.
Look, he might be.
Because I don't know. Sometimes he just disappears for months at a time.
He might be. Do you know, I found him, we were on our way, do you remember Stereosonic?
Yeah.
We were at Hallett Cove train station, loaded up, fucking tuning, we were drunk. It was like 10 in the morning. We were on our way to fucking Stereosonic. And I look over and there's Scotty. He was waiting for a train. That's how he gets around.
He's so savvy.
Yeah,
and buses too.
and
He knows it like the back of his hand.
he went into the bin, grabbed a fucking coffee, and I was like, "Don't do it." And he like looked at it, and he's like,
The George Costanza.
and I was like, "There's no fucking way." And he got on the train, and he got out of like Warradale, so he gets around.
He's really savvy. Sometimes see him in Rundle Mall as well. And
Different.
but it's funny if I'm not in the shop, he doesn't, or for some reason he remembers me in Savers.
He probably,
But he won't remember anywhere else,
yeah,
yeah.
he probably like affiliates that place to you, kind of thing.
Yeah, he does. He knows who's in there.
Yeah,
You
memorizes it.
cheeky bugger, as he says all the time.
He's been around since I was a kid.
Oh, he's great.
He's
great.
I remember because he used to walk around colonnades in a flash suit, and then he
Did he?
upgraded. Yeah,
Oh.
he upgraded to a Superman suit. But he's been around for fucking years.
He's great. He'll come up and tell me all about his new toys and stuff as well. Like, awesome. Like, how's everything been? You try to ask him, try to engage in a conversation that isn't structured for his normal, and he just kind of blanks you. It's
Yeah,
too
he doesn't
far removed
understand.
from the. Well, even if he doesn't, maybe he's not comfortable with it.
It's fucking sad though when you look at like you'd see.
It is, it's heaps
very sad. And you work in a field where you work
Yeah.
with people like disabled people and people with intellectual disabilities and all that.
Predominantly a lot of autism for where I am, so it can be very.
And it just makes you
Different.
think how much untreated fucking autism and all these little things were in like the night, because they didn't know about it as it wasn't as prevalent in the 90s, but it wasn't as prevalent because they weren't diagnosing people.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
Like everyone says,
Roundabout,
back in
yeah.
my day there was none of that's because no one was diagnosed with it because you just didn't know how.
depression wasn't even really a thing back then.
Depression was, that's why in my
Like,
day.
what's this? You're sad.
In the 80s, no one was depressed. Yeah, bullshit, because you all came from fucking World War II and the Great
Everybody was
Depression.
depressed.
Everyone was fucking depressed and everyone needed help. That's why there's so many depressed kids now, because they grew up with their parents and their parents were fucked up from their parents.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's that
It
trickle-on
rolls on,
effect,
it rolls on.
unfortunately.
Like, I don't, like, fuck, I could not imagine what our, like, grandparents and great-grandparents went through when they're 16 and they, like, okay, here's your gun.
Oh, it would have been terrible.
You gotta go. Like, to rip your skateboard out your hand. Just put a gun in
No!
it. Like, what the fuck are you gonna do? You can't say no. It's like, what are you gonna do?
You're a man now, you're defending your country.
It's fucked. It's so sketchy to think about. I always think about that. Like, what if they just start enrolling people?
Hey, look, I guess it's never really off the cards. If a country's forced to do it,
They can't do it in Australia. What the fuck are we
I
gonna
know,
do? We're
I'd
gonna
be
be
useless.
a hindrance. Like, we're gonna imagine Eric, or like just like a lot of my. I just couldn't imagine it. Like,
I think he'd actually do better. He's that guy sometimes that completely surprises you. I'm like, how the fuck did you pull that together, mate?
yeah, or
does.
like, but then there's countries like Russia where they're all built for war.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
they're
look,
waiting for it.
I'm not doing well in that situation.
Yeah, I'm not. Maybe I'll get refreshments for the soldiers.
I'll use my charisma and hopefully I can like get past it. Oh, you know why you shouldn't shoot me? might do alright that way. You should put your gun down.
Sponsored, your skateboard sponsors the Russian army. just size.
They recognise you like, oh.
Oh fuck! It's some sketchy times. It's gonna be something. There's sketchy times ahead, I reckon.
Yeah, I know. And I always run with if you're not laughing, you're crying. So
It's harder for you because you're a father.
yeah, exactly. So you have to like pull the wool over your eyes a little bit.
Yeah, see,
But then not in other ways. It's a
Yeah.
hard. Where do you choose?
It's fucking hard. Like, yeah, but there's
It's not harder. It's a different hard.
Yeah, well, you
Different
have.
hard.
Yeah, I don't have children to worry about. I've family, I have friends and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's obviously very different to having your own children, and like, even just sending your kids to school every day by themselves would be daunting at the moment with the shit you hear.
Oh, you know what? And nothing's worse than the first few weeks of school. That's the one thing I want to put out there. It's like you have parents that their first kids are going to school for the first time, like the first week, first month. That's probably the scariest bit because you're like, this is the first time for a lot of people,
Letting
I'm putting
someone else.
Yeah, this is.
And there's a lot of fucked up people. And it's just like, and there is like, imagine being in America and you send your kid to school for the first day. That would affect you way more than it affects me.
Oh,
because at this point, I'm desensitized to school shootings. When I hear about them in America, I'm
Block me
like,
out.
there's another one. Like, who gives a fuck? But for you,
it's real.
It's real because you have to send your kid to a school. But in
yeah.
America, imagine sending your kid to a fucking school first day, so excited, and then just some fucking piece of shit. Just like,
Yeah.
how do you deal with that?
I have no idea.
Like, it's so crazy.
I don't want to deal with it. It's
Yeah.
that, you know, you deal with lots of things through life. That's one thing.
But those fucking poor parents, and it's just become such a normality in America.
Well, in Glenelg, they had that.
Yeah, what happened there? I didn't know what happened.
Apparently, some dude entered the school, looked underneath the toilets until he found someone. That kid was running, and they were chasing him through or her through the school till they.
They get him?
I don't think so. I think the teachers or some school faculty like cottoned on, but they were chasing them apparently through the school. That was the story I heard about it. I'm like, fuck, that's you know, there's brazen.
Wouldn't you just beat the shit out of him?
Well, if you, I'm sure someone has.
Hopefully. Actually, in America, there was an attempted mall shooting the other day. That's how normal it is. You don't hear about it unless 20 plus people die. Like this bloke went.
That's terrible.
This bloke went in with an AR-15 and he killed 2 people. And then this bloke from about 50 yards away, which is pretty far, had a handgun because he was carrying, lined him up from across the food court, shot him straight in the fucking head 8 times.
8 times?
Yeah, he shot him 8 times.
Just to make sure, right?
Oh, fuck. Don't
get me wrong, like, I think he did the right thing in that situation. I'm just thinking, like, 8 times.
But, like, yeah, it's hard. It's just hard. It's like...
That's so bad.
You can't fix America now, though, because you can't get rid of the guns, because they need the guns for situations like that. So it's like, they get rid of it's such a moral complex, because, they can't get rid of all the guns, because there's 5 times the amount of guns in America than there is population.
Well, that's the same thing here as well. You think about, like, all the people wanting to do the right thing, essentially for the right reason, will, but the people who don't want to do the right thing, that aren't going to do the right thing, won't. And you get this in this sticky situation. Like, I don't know how they'd approach it, but I just thank anything up there that I'm not in that position.
Yeah.
You couldn't pay me to be Prime Minister of any country. Couldn't do it. Wouldn't do it.
No, it's a horrible... It's a thankless job. It's like being a referee.
If you do something good, you've done something bad. If you've done something bad, you've...
But then you got to factor in all
Nazi.
Then you got to factor in all the corruption, fucking...
Yeah.
And just dirty shit that goes on in the background of those jobs.
Yeah, you couldn't pay me enough to do that.
There's just this world that no one knows about.
And I don't want to know about it.
I do. Not.
I mean, I do as well because I'm a nosy
level,
prick. But like,
but it just, I've always been really intrigued with like that kind of conspiracy ish. Like, I guess you call it a conspiracy because I don't believe in say like the Illuminati, but I believe there's like, I don't believe that Joe Biden runs America. Like, do you know what I mean?
I don't know.
He cannot string a fucking sentence together. There's no way he's leading the most powerful country in the world.
I always was under the influence that they're just a face. It's like a prime minister. You're the face of a party that's running the
I don't
country,
even know who's our prime minister at the moment. We change every like 2 weeks. I don't even know what's going on there. I don't know who.
Isn't it Kevin Rudd again?
I don't know. But fucking yeah, Australian politics are so funny because no one gives a fuck. Like,
they do.
It's so much more relaxed than American politics, though.
Oh well, yeah. It's not like storming the White House.
Yeah, in a buffalo hat.
I can't believe that happened, but I can because it's America.
I did
MTV.
I did a podcast with one of my favourite YouTubers, this dude called Senpai. I did it on the computer there.
That was the online one.
And we were talking off like on camera and shit, and I was like, America's the greatest reality show that's ever lived. Because I know so much more about American culture and politics and shit than I do Australian.
It's almost forced upon you.
It is when you're a kid. When you're a kid,
The Simpsons came out like just before I was born. So it's been there my whole life. As a kid, I don't really watch it now.
They're still doing it, aren't they?
They're still going, but I haven't watched it for a good 10 years.
They got rid of Apu.
Yeah.
They got fucking rid of him.
That's another thing, isn't it? But you bring that stuff up. I don't think wiping things is necessarily the right way to go. I get it. It's a terrible stereotype, right?
But do you know what? I was watching this thing the other day.
As long as people feel better.
It's a very minute thing. It's very small and it sounds stupid, but it opens your eyes a lot. Like this bloke on, do you know TikTok?
Yeah, I've got
This
TikTok.
bloke on TikTok, he dresses in offensive outfits. Like not
I've seen him.
Not offensive, but he'll wear like a culture's like stereotypical outfit. Like he wears a big Mexican hat and a poncho and he'll go up to white people and different people and he'll say, "Does this outfit offend you?" And they're like, "Yes, it does, heavily." And then they'll go to the Mexican part of town and ask all the Mexicans, and they're like, "We fucking love it." Like you're embracing the culture.
Yeah,
So sometimes people just want to get fucking angry.
I don't even know.
Just don't
that's
be
a whole area. I'm just
it's-
like I try and stay away from
Because it's sketchy. It's
I don't-
sketchy, and it consumes people. It just consumes some people.
it's just all the hate in there that I guess it's like I feel like what you're meaning to get across is really what matters.
Mm.
And if you fuck up and someone says I don't like it and you're like, oh sorry. That wasn't I think that should be the thing. It's I guess learning from the
I just feel sorry for kids because everything that your kids do when they're 15 is going to be on camera.
Yeah.
They can't make mistakes like...
I mean, it is now.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
exactly.
everything
But,
is.
like, they can't make mistakes. They can make mistakes still, but they're going to be ridiculed for them a lot more. And it never stops when they go home. Like, if in school, if I had a shit day, when I went home, it was over. Now...
bullying continues.
Now it's fucking on. Like, when internet first came around and we were on MSN and MySpace and shit... No one was really bullying each other because it was so new and we were so addicted and infatuated with it. We were all just doing dumb shit on it, like
putting your song lyrics in your MSN bio.
But now it gets fucking violent. It's so violent, and kids can be so mean.
And you think of all the mental health issues coming up with the youth now. At work I had a really terrible thing happen earlier in the year with one of my clients, and it resulted in him passing away, and a lot of it went from school stuff. And
Young
it was
kid?
Just just finished school.
Mental health issue.
Yeah, and it was just terrible.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
It's so if you don't mind asking, under 18, that's fucked. That's so sad.
Just, and it changes everyone's perception. You get to see the whole way of the effect it had on the family at the time.
It's hard though because then the kids that are bullying that kid, you don't know what their home life's like. So it's like what do you do? Because those kids are bullying this kid, but at home,
and sometimes it's not even just kids. Sometimes it's teachers.
That's fucked.
I mean, whether or not they realise they're doing it though, it's just that's how it's perceived.
I
don't know.
I had a real cunt of a teacher that I am positive that she just didn't like me because I think it was a racial thing.
Okay.
I am 100% certain on it, and I won't out her name because she's a cunt and she still teaches, I think. But I was in advanced maths when I was in year 8 and 9. I was pretty good at maths, and whatever I did, I just couldn't please this cunt. I wouldn't show the correct working out. I'd get the answer right. Oh, you cheated. No, I didn't. I just didn't work it out like on the paper. Like I can't cheat. Like we didn't have phones. Like how am I going to cheat?
I like the old, you're not going to have a calculator on you all the time.
And you're not going to have a calculator. Do you know, the school curriculum is just not correct. That's a story for another day. Yeah. But I remember once, she fucking was just hammering me, and I was like, it has to be a race thing, because she was failing me, and I wasn't doing anything wrong. And so I
didn't like you.
I went back to, I had a couple of teachers that didn't like me. I wasn't that bad a fucking student either. I shut my mouth most of the time. But the school curriculum, it was never for me. Ever. It was never for me. I just don't think the structure like resonated with me. Because it's setting you up to do 9 to 5.
I passed by the skin of my teeth by doing no work and being a friendly person. And I literally just passed. But I was never there. I was wagging with my mate Clint, skating down the park. Sorry, Mum.
There's really
Not
cool
sorry,
alternatives. Like one of my mates send their kids to school up here, and I don't know what the fuck you'd call it. They call it
flow program.
I don't know. It's all maybe start not Montessori, Steiner school.
I don't know a lot about that.
It's a Steiner school, so they're more open to creativity rather than hammering like a reception with maths.
Is that like the Waldorf?
It's like a Waldorf school, yeah. So they call their teachers by their first names. It's not like But
you get a cool teacher at any school, and they'll allow that.
Yeah,
It's
but that's your favorite. But that's your favorite class.
Yeah, that's it.
So why can't all the classes be like that?
The most important thing with anything working with anyone is building rapport with them. That is the first thing.
Like my favorite teacher at in primary school, and I still talk to him to this day. It's so weird.
That's sick though.
So in Antonia Primary School, there was this teacher called Mr. Taylor, and Mr. Taylor he was a sports teacher. He was built like, he was athletic. He was fun.
He was the dude.
But if you fucked up at Antonio, you used to get sent to his class, and he would destroy you. Like you just like.
So he was like Jekyll and Hyde.
He'd hammer you. But if you were like good, he was the best teacher, and he just started teaching at Cardine College, and he comes into the shop, and I'm like, oh hey Mr. Taylor, and he's like, Savis, and I'm like, Mr. Taylor, and he's like, call me fucking Michael. I'm like,
Sick.
I can't. So every time I see him, I'm like, Mr. Taylor's like, call me fucking Michael, man. It's so weird, like grown man calling him Mr. Taylor.
I had one of my good long life mates who went to high school over last night with his wife, because his wife was my wife's best friend growing up, and he was mine, and her and I sort of got together, and then they got together afterwards. Actually, I have his name tattooed on me. I've got Andy on my arm, but he got Beau on schoolies here hard.
That's so good.
So gnarly. That was a friendship maker or breaker. Lucky I'm really easygoing. No, I loved it. But we'll talk about that sort of teacher stuff last night, and how he was... You know how there is an asshole kid at school?
Yeah, there's just a prick.
He was that to
prick.
Teachers, not to other people.
Just interrupt the whole class, just ruin the class.
Like, to the point where this one particular teacher would be like, you know, they've messed with her so much throughout the whole year, and she's short. She's trying to reach something on the whiteboard, and she'd realise she's got to point to something, can't reach it, oh, go get the stool. Can't reach it. And then she goes and gets a ruler on the stool and finally gets to it, and then he'd just be like, to the point where he's broken her down to this point, you know, like pretty badly. What's wrong, Miss Gavoris? Can't you reach it? You know, and it just break her down to tears.
It was fucking...
Like, it's brutal.
There's always one,
It's not nice.
There's always one.
But looking back on it, and I'm like...
I remember when we used to have... So when I left school in the start of year 11, just after year 10, because I got an apprenticeship. But at year 10 and 11, there started to be an influx of these really young teachers. Because, like, all the old teachers were getting too old, so now there's all these young teachers, and we would just fucking walk all over them, because they were very attractive, like, even the blokes were fucking... There was this bloke...
They were just young.
Yeah, they were just young, and they were, like, a bit hipper, but we used to walk all over them. And I remember once I was 17... Sorry, Mum. I was 17 and I was going out and I was in town. I was at one of my mates' house.
He was 18, Mum.
And we went to town and I can't remember where we went, but we seen one of our teachers and we were like, what the fuck? This is so weird. And she was off
wild.
chops.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But it's just weird. And like, there's just younger teachers now. They're more hip. I don't know. It seems cooler.
It's heaps easier to relate with them, though. Which, you know, that's a huge benefit. Think about it. If they're
I had a
65,
fucking bitch teacher smack me with a ruler in Antonio.
Did you?
Yeah, on the wrist. I was like, fuck, if you do that today, imagine that.
They'd be in jail.
Nah, you go to jail. Like, what the hell? You can't do that, but it's normal. Like, even smacking your kid back in the day was pretty normal.
Yeah, it was. A few hiding.
Did you ever cop a hiding?
Just only when I was younger and I was really bad. My parents were pretty good with that.
Yeah.
They were pretty good.
I didn't cop
I got more
hidings.
the guilt trip.
My brother and sister copped fucking hidings, though.
Yeah.
I'm 17 years younger than my sister, though. And I'm like 14 years younger than my brother.
I never got like a belting or anything. Like,
not a belting, but like...
Just a bit of a smack on the bum.
A bit of a hiding.
But yeah, the guilt trip runs strong in my family.
You cannot. Oh, that's worse.
I know.
I'd rather than pump.
Mum can still do it to me. I'm trying to bloody get out of that now.
My mum still gives it to me. I'm 28, and my mum will still guilt me.
They're good at it.
Yeah, they're good at it. They're the best at it. They're the best at it. Those 1960s, 1970s women. They're built for it.
Love you, Mum.
Yeah, love you too, Mum. So do you just skate whenever you want now? Or do you actively compete anymore?
Oh, but actively compete. I mean, since before all the COVID shit, like honestly, I have barely done a trip. But I'm leaving for I'm not going to do many comps. I was going to go up to Rumble again, which is a big comp in Mackay. So it's kind of
Queensland.
Yeah, like North Queensland. I went to the first two when they first started them.
There'd be some fucking skaters up there,
mate. Well, everyone's flying in there. So it's pretty sick. But it's in... Have you ever been to Mackay?
No. Is that northern Queensland?
Yeah, like...
Like near Cairns?
It's fucking like... I've never actually been to Cairns, so I'm not sure how close it is. But my first introduction... The first year I went... The truck company I was skating for at the time, Steve McInnes was running and team manager. He was... he hired a big Airbnb for us all. Big pink house. And it actually had like a kindergarten underneath it. Excuse me. That was a good one.
That was so good.
I'm glad we recorded that. And the first night, it was me and... I mentioned Kat earlier, who lives in Adelaide. We flew up together. So we got in the house and like, cool, whatever. We've got the house to ourselves for a bit. We'll go skate and we just get to chill. We don't drink as much as the other guys do, like party-wise. Like they get a bit more wild.
Skateboarders can get fucking loose,
and this house was that house. But the first night, we're like, fuck this. We don't even know what this place is like. Let's just chill. So we are, and, you know, we've had a look around. Everything's fine. Gone to the skate park, kind of got our bearings. Like, cool, let's go back. I think it was like 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning, and a handful of them just came back out of nowhere. I don't know if the plane came in, or if the plane came in and they went drinking. I don't know. Just all of a sudden, it was music in the lounge room, full on. We're like, you know, like, what is going on? But it was fun. It was all cool. It was just so tiring. And then the next day, a bunch of other stuff happened, but we ended up going to me and this dude, Sean Boucher, amazing skateboarder, but even better human. Met him there. Bloody good egg. But we ended up going to this rock show. It was like full on metal. Like the most goth people I have seen in my life in Mackay, which is kind of like country-ish. Like,
yeah, I'm pretty sure Mackay is like... I'm pretty familiar with Queensland, but for some reason it's just blanked me. I'm pretty sure it's like inland northern Queensland.
Yeah, it's pretty.
So is it very tropical?
Yeah, it's heaps tropical.
Like, really, you know,
humid. There's crocs, jellyfish. It's got the works.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's heading.
Swimming.
I'm pretty sure that's heading up to fucking like the real north.
You're going towards Townsville way, I think.
Really? Yeah, I don't know.
I'm often wrong, but
that's going to piss me off. We'll look it up after.
Yeah, we'll have a gaze and we'll see how wrong I am later.
It's in fucking New South
This
Wales.
is the first time, so I'm going off my first year being there, recollection. But anyway, we walk into this thing, full metal gig. There's this, you know, not to be a prick, I don't mean that way, but she was like plus size in tight leather with a short leather tight skirt,
just going
fishnets.
Yeah.
Like high heels.
I know the exact type.
This is the bit that fucking was the scary bit. We turned around and left. She's in the middle of a mosh. She's got a chain with locks on the end of it, swinging the fucking thing around.
No
and I walked
shit.
in, I'm like, that's Mackay. Walked back out. Like, I'm not getting involved.
There's some
It was insane.
special fucking characters up in Queensland. My fiance's family's all from Queensland, so we like to go up there a bit. And I remember, do you know where Mooloolaba is?
No, but I know the name.
Mooloolaba's like,
sounds fun to say.
Central Sunny Coast, so that's like the middle of the Sunshine Coast.
Okay.
And that's where, like, when you think of a Queenslander, that's the epitome. You'll find them all there. They're just suntanned, fucked mullets, no shoes, just chilled. I remember we walked into a bottle at like 10 o'clock at night. This dude walks in, he's like 20, 22. The roughest, this is before mullets came back. The roughest mullet you'll ever see. Flanny. No buttons.
Sick.
Like rugby shorts. Walks in. Hey, going girls, and they're like, I don't know his name, but they were like, hey, Ted. Fucking like they knew him. Walks to the fridge, 6 bottles of wine, puts it on the counter, looks at us and goes, I'm ready to fucking party. And
on ya.
I fucking love Queensland so much.
My mate Jake lives up that way, and he's had a kid and he's got a wife now, and they're
beautiful
great.
Spot.
But like I could imagine him doing that.
The people up there are just different because the weather, I swear it's the fucking weather, because it's constantly 28, 27, 25 degrees. They're just happier people. They're just a thing.
Well, my brother lives just outside of like the Goldie a little bit, and he reckons, or he's telling me like everybody here just fucking whinges that it's too hot.
No way, really?
That's what he was telling me. But he's moved up from South Australia, and he's like, when it's hot here, it's dry.
We're real fucking docile here, though.
But when it's hot there, it's not. So he likes it more for that part of it, I think. But he was telling me
South Australia gets fucking hot. But we're really like docile people in South
Well,
Australia.
it just burns.
We're just fucking always tired. We're
Yeah.
just always
How you
tired.
going? Oh, I'm wrecked.
Fucking wrecked. What have you done today? Nothing.
Fucked. Everything's either fucked or great.
We
There's no
move
between.
at such a slow pace. Like, you go to Victoria and Sydney. When I lived in New South Wales, I was like, why is everyone in a fucking rush? Everyone
Slow
there.
down.
Always somewhere to go. Where's the nearest shops? Oh, it's pretty close. 45 minutes down the road. Fuck
Yeah.
that. It's such a different place to live.
That's where I realise I am a bit of a country bumpkin in many ways, because I go to Melbourne and Sydney and I feel frazzled.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot
And
to
I'm like,
take in.
I'm just, I'm a bit wussy, and I'll own that. That's fine.
Sensitive.
But just in that sort of way. But if there's heaps of stuff going on, by the end of the day, I'm just wrecked.
I get really fucking aggro when people, like, I noticed when I was in New South Wales, you can't just walk up to people and be like, oh, where's this? I'll be like,
Yeah.
why are you talking to me?
I feel sorry for the proper country, like someone from KI going to Melbourne. Imagine trying to like wave to every person
Well,
driving
in
past you.
KI, they don't even have fucking electricity yet.
I love it over there though.
I'm going shortly next month. I reckon we're going. I haven't been in ages. I haven't been since, I would have been 13.
We try and go like at least bi-yearly.
It's grown back lush as fuck.
It's
Apparently,
heaps good. I was over on Easter
the
weekend.
bushfires obviously are horrible, but
Yeah.
apparently it's like really made it like real lush and
A lot of rejuvenation.
it almost not needed it because obviously it's horrible, the wildlife and all the people that lost their homes and stuff. But apparently it looks amazing.
Yeah, well, a lot of the plants there like rejuvenate through fire. So if they don't cop it, they don't.
Well, they're supposed to burn them every year. They're supposed to burn off like shit every year.
Yeah. Well, I
But
mean,
they
but you
don't.
go driving, the deeper you go, you still see like, oh, that tree was
It's
fried.
It's
you know,
fucking
like,
sad though because
insane.
when was it?
over there.
Just after the bushfire. No, maybe 2 years ago. So it was just after the bushfires. When were they? Like three,
about
3
3.
years ago. Start of COVID.
Yeah, was it 2020?
No,
or 2019?
I can't remember if it was pre-COVID or I think it was pre-COVID because
working
Kangaroo
with
Island
bar.
got smashed because they got the fires.
And it was 2 fires, wasn't it? That
Yeah,
super fire.
and then they got COVID, so they got no tourism, so
So
they were
nuts.
fucked. But I think it was like 2 years ago or last year I was ringing up because there used to be a property there that was like 500 acres and you pay them like $55 a night per person and you can camp on it and shoot. And whatever you shoot you can keep, but it's mostly like feral cats and
Okay.
but it's feral cats, goats, pigs, deer, some deer and a lot of rabbits. But you're like helping with pest control and shit, and you can keep the meat if you kill it. Like if you kill a pig, you can keep it.
Because you want to eat a cat.
Yeah, no, you obviously. But besides the cat, you can keep everything else and eat it.
Yeah.
So, but I called them up and they were like, "Sorry, love, but the property is gone. Everything's gone."
wiped out.
Yeah, and I was like, "Fuck." That's when it hit home. I was like, "Fuck, that's so sad. This poor bloke's
Yeah.
like whole
Livelihood.
life is just gone. It's insane."
When we went over in Easter, we stayed in. It's like a national park, and it's got a house just in the
Airbnb?
guts of it. Yeah, it was on Airbnb. I'll show you what it is. It's lovely. If you go, book it out. It's 6. It's like on the lake. Like little shark rays and stuff swimming around. Like you walk out. there,
Oh,
it's-
that's cool.
It's sick. I'll show you pictures after as well. I can't remember what it's called, but when we were there, you could just see how much it's come back. 'Cause we went over and opened the Kingscote skate park with Elan skateboards it would have been just before the fires. So we all went over, like the whole team, opened up the new Kingscote skate park, which has an old school snake run that they fixed up as well. and
That's
it's
pretty cool.
So fucking fast.
Is there any snake runs in Adelaide?
They're like, yes, but they updated Holden Hill, and now they've kind of turned it into a skate park, which it's cool. It's better. It's more usable, but it's just not what it was.
Yeah.
I haven't even been there yet, so I don't know whether it's good or bad. But
Do you go up to the city to skate ever?
yeah, I used to more when City Park was there.
When are you? Oh wait, isn't it on North Terrace?
Yeah,
It's not there anymore.
it's been gone for like 8 years.
What they put there?
Car park. That's a whole
Was that
nother
before?
fucking thing.
Was that before this? Was that before the Hyatt, the old Hyatt?
I don't know. What do you mean?
The skate park was on the left side. If
Yeah.
you're driving up, it was.
You get the bridge.
Oh my god! They
skate
got rid of it.
Ages ago,
Oh,
yeah. Like,
no
it's close to a
shit.
decade. They're building their new one. It's going on, I think it's
That's
the
insane.
Parklands on the west
I used
side.
because I used to work at this restaurant called Jolly's Boathouse on the River Torrens.
Oh.
And really nice fucking
When
restaurant.
was the last time you walked past that area?
See, that's the thing. I'd never go to the city anymore. When I was
It's
younger,
been
I
like
lived
8
there.
years.
But
Like, I'm sure you drove past once.
How old am I? I'm 28. About 8 years ago is when I was working at Jolly's, 9 even.
Okay.
I finished my apprenticeship. No, I finished my apprenticeship when I was fucking almost 19. Yeah, 10 years almost. And I used to drive to work every day. And I used to use North Terrace. And I used to look at them and it was always the same kids.
Yeah.
And they should have been at school. Like, all of them. You get, like,
They were at school. They were learning other life skills.
But like that looked like a pretty cool spot. But there's no skate park in the city anymore.
That part's like a car park, but I think it's for the cancer research centre. So at least it's something cool.
Yeah.
But in Adelaide, Adelaide being
Is that
known
for the new hospital?
one-way.
Was that for the new hospital?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that hospital
all part of it.
fucked up for everything because they closed HQ down because of that hospital. It's just ruined everything.
And didn't they close the repat down due to that hospital
Yeah.
being there as well? And now they've opened that again. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that hospital, fucking hell, used to have the best. They used to have a skate park and HQ in the city, and now nothing.
HQ. I forgot about HQ.
Oh, I can't even tell any of the stories I have from HQ. That place was. We'll
do that off mic.
I did not miss, and this is not a word of a lie. I did not miss a flash dance or a HQ Saturday.
So you went. It was Flashy's Thursday.
Flashy's
or
was Wednesdays.
It was Wednesday.
I used to go to every single Wednesday and Saturday. I did not miss a single one for I think it was like 22 months. It was just under 2 years. And
insane.
I did not miss a Vic Friday for like 3 years. I didn't miss a Marble Bar or Apple Thursday for like fucking 2-3 years.
This is when you were telling me you used to do 4 or 5 days.
I literally would. Every Wednesday was flash
So
dance.
you were working for those days, really. Your pay would have been gone.
Nah, luckily, like, my friend group had money. But I didn't. I was an apprentice, so I never really had money. But my friend group and shit, we'd all shout each other. We'd all help each other out.
Yeah.
Like, all the time. And I was good saver. Because I, like...
You would have had to be, mate. You're doing 5 days of partying.
Like, I was a good saver.
5 days
But
of
I
working.
used to get fucking sloshed, but we used to buy each other drinks, so it kind of evened out. So on Wednesdays, every single Wednesday I'd go to Flash Dance. Every single Thursday I'd go to Marble Bar, and then I'd go to Apple when Marble closed. Every Friday I'd go to the Vic. Every Saturday I'd go to HQ. Every Sunday I'd go to the Grand.
So you had Monday, Tuesday where you're like, I might feel alright.
Tuesdays and Monday was always my day off. So on Monday I was just recovering, and on Tuesdays I'd scourge just enough money to buy a 50-gram pouch of Port Royals, tally hose, and a packet of filters. That would take me my last $38 because I always had $38 left.
You had it punt.
Yeah.
You were like, this is it.
Every single Tuesday I'd walk in, I'd go to the servo right near on Glen Osmond Road up there, and I'd go Port Royals, tally hose, pack of ultra slim filters please, $38, thank you sir. Yeah, every Tuesday. Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't hack it.
Oh, it was good. It was so good.
Well done, though.
But do you know what? It makes it a blur. Like, I don't remember a lot of my childhood.
I bet it does.
Not my childhood like that, just that time, because it was also... Oh, you're right.
Yeah, saved it.
It was also fast-paced.
Yeah.
That, like, you kind of just lose track of things.
Everything's just adrenaline at
But
that
then
point,
you
right?
get like a glimpse of something, or you see something, and then you have this memory, and you're like, oh my god,
Yeah.
I remember that.
I do that all the time.
Yeah.
Randomly. Something brings it into your
Something
head.
brings it back. Like someone will say something, and it'll just trigger a memory. And you're like, oh my god.
Well, I had a good one the other day. You'll like this story. In 2010, I went over for my first trip to the States. So I went over with a bunch of other skaters. It was sick. But it was shit, but it was... like, you know how you get, like, blessing curses? I had, like, a blurse.
Yes.
So on the first day there, I actually rolled my ankle horrifically. Like, pretty much off the plane, 45 minutes off it. Should have settled down. Tried to do a
Skating?
trick down a stair set. Not even a big one. Just obliterated my left ankle. Fucking sucked. But in hindsight, I got to take in being in a different place, because otherwise I would have only seen it through a skater's eyes. You know, like, looking for things to skate. But we were sitting out the front of I think it was a dry cleaners in San Francisco. And there was this dude with...
San Francisco's like a skateboarding mecca, isn't it?
I think so. Like,
Just 'cause
the
of
Bay
all-
Area
yeah.
is, and the hills, and it's like a different breed. It's like
Yeah.
a niche, but it's cool. It's fucking gnarly. The hills are nuts. Like, I've never seen things so steep
Yeah,
in my
apparently
life.
it's very vertical.
And you see cars parked on, like, these roads, and they're, like, on an angle like this. But the cars are, like...
That's hectic.
It's fucking insane.
Alright, continue.
We're sitting out the front, This was a memory I had the other day. And this dude comes up to us. He has no legs. He's in this little wheelchair. He's got dreads down to his bum. And he starts telling us like all these conspiracy theories about things. And he seemed so coherent until he started talking about how he was abducted by aliens and what they were doing to him. And like...
Maybe they took his legs.
That was... He goes, no, I lost my legs in the war, but the aliens offered to give me my legs back, and they gave me this ring. It's from Egypt, and I'm looking at the ring, and it's just like made in China. it's like a whistle ring, and he's just telling all this stuff, and I'm like, it popped into my head the other day.
America.
But we actually filmed it. When I find it, I'm going to send it through to you.
Really?
This dude's telling us all this stuff, because this is 2010.
No way.
That was actually the most eye-opening trip I've been on for just so many things, because I got to see it through not just skateboarding.
Yeah.
But I was one night, everybody else nicked off, and this is San Fran, so we went LA and San Fran that trip. You won't know who they are, but Peter Ramondetta and Frank Gerwer were just at this spot at night time. They're kind of like legends in skateboarding, like that sort of area. And I just happened to walk over and sit down, and they rock up and just started having a game of skate in front of me. Like, they're older guys, even then.
Oh, so skate's a real game.
Yeah, like game of skate.
It's not just Tony Hawk.
It's like horse. You know, like you play,
it's like Tony Hawk.
Yeah, but you set a trick and the other person has to do it. If
no
they don't,
shit.
They get a letter. So it's a good way to warm up. But they just started doing that, and to me, I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'd be tired right now in bed. If I, just the things that I saw.
But you were watching it live.
I met Pierce Brosnan.
Really?
Yeah, in a skate shop. At a premiere.
Skate shop?
Then his son, he was there with his kid. Either his kid or his grandkid, because Pierce Brosnan was still pretty old then. Yeah. And his kid was decked out. Do you remember DGK?
Yeah.
Yeah, his kid was just decked out in DGK gear, annoying the fuck out of Silas Baxter Neal, who was a skateboarder in that video, and can't remember who the other guy was now.
Celebrities are just everywhere in America, aren't they?
His kid was just being that nagging. You know how like celebrities cop the nagging person? He was the one trying to settle his kid down, nagging people that were celebrities to his kid. Really? And it was sitting back and watching it. I'm like, this is a fucking sight.
That's hilarious.
But Pierce was hell cool.
Yeah, no shit.
How you going, boys? I'm like, yeah, no, we're from
so
Adelaide.
Cool.
And he's like, I think I know Adelaide.
I know Melbourne.
Yeah, just craziest stuff.
Trips are good. You see some funny shit. I remember I've travelled a lot of Europe. And I always did solo missions. Like, I'd go for 8 weeks at a time by myself and just travel around. Yeah. And I remember I went to... Do you know that music festival, Tomorrowland?
Yeah.
I went there by myself.
I've actually listened to you talk about Tomorrowland.
Yeah, but it wasn't Tomorrowland that was the marvel. It was like Belgium, because it's still war-torn from World War II.
Oh.
Like, the fucking Jews there... Obviously, we don't have a big Jew community in Adelaide.
Yeah, I don't know much about them.
Yeah, so they have Hasidic Jews there, which are the ones that wear the hats and they got the curls.
Okay.
Like that, but...
My wife saw one of them fall over running to a bus.
Dude, in Belgium, these fucking dudes, they're fucking so rude because they don't... Really? I don't think they trust Westerners anymore because of Hitler.
Oh, okay.
Because Belgium got fucking hammered by World War II. And so I think the Jews are very hesitant to talk to outside races, so they only talk to each other. So they'll be in a massive group of, let's say, 5 blokes, and they'll all have their hats and their curls, and then they'll see you come around a corner, and they'll look at you, and they'll scatter, and they'll turn around and look at a wall until you leave.
Oh, wow.
Not joking. And then we were walking, there was a massive...
That's trauma. That is trauma.
It's ingrained into them. There was a fucking group of like 50 of us walking to Tomorrowland, because you got to go to a bus and then you got to go to a suburb and then it's a head fuck. But we were all walking and they're all in festival gear. So all the girls are in their fucking festival gear. Like, it's the biggest day of their lives. They're in their bikinis and their fucking like skimpy outfits.
Wow.
And these Jews, I remember this Jewish bloke walked past us. He put his briefcase over his face, crouched down, and fucking walked in between us all. And I was like, fuck, this is so weird. Like,
do you ever just think maybe he was like, oh, I've got to hide from these people?
Maybe he just
they're
didn't
so
like
ugly,
us.
I've got to...
Maybe he just didn't fucking like us. But yeah, travelling and just getting weird experiences in is so cool. Did you listen to my first podcast with my friend Jacob?
Yeah, I think I did.
That lived in America?
Yeah.
He has some fucking stories from America.
Hey, can I pause? I really need to piss.
Yeah. Pause it.
Yeah, you mentioned TikTok before. How's I had like a full viral video. Like
you had a viral video.
Yeah, I'm talking like
we're joined by
million.
Josie. This is Josie, everyone, by the way.
She's cute.
This is my Joe.
But yeah, mine's like...
No
and
shit.
I don't even use it properly.
For what video?
I just... it's going back. It's one where I tried it. I just literally am gripping a board, like the first one, and Eric said something like, can't find the hole, and it just went to like...
You know you make good money off that shit if you keep going.
Yeah, but I just use it like Instagram, so I'm shit with it.
Yeah.
So it's sort of, I'd have like... Yeah, it's interesting. But I broke like that random thing. I had it for 3 months, barely used it. Post a stupid video that Eric filmed of me one day as like whatever. Like, and it just went insane. So I had like 9 million views on that one video in like
9 million.
a day. It went just done. It was just all comments being like,
did you wake up?
Yeah,
and like,
pretty much my
what
phone
the
was...
fuck?
And it's a nothing video.
That happened with
Bottom
me
of the
with
barrel.
when I was getting tattoo. Do you know a bloke called Hobson?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got a Hobson tattoo on my calf, my left calf, and
Hobson skates a bit.
yeah, he's a good skater. He always skates with his fans,
Yeah, I think that's cool.
and he plays skate with them actually.
Yeah.
And he was... I posted it on my Instagram and tagged him. And I went to bed and I woke up and I had like... I went on my Instagram and it was just... I couldn't load it. Because back in the old iPhones, like, they weren't as good. Like, I could not load my Instagram and I was like, what the fuck? And I had like 83,000 likes on my photo because he shared it. And then, do you remember a guy who used to rap with Dizzy Wright?
No.
I got him tattooed here. He's a really good rapper.
Show us them.
And I made a what do you call it? A time lapse of the whole tattoo I got of this. So I sat my phone up on charge for like 6 hours, and I got this photo.
Yeah,
I did a time lapse of it, and I posted it, and he shared it as well.
Was that Cody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I got Cody's first ever portrait on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does it compare up to nowadays?
Do you know
from
what?
Cody?
It's fucking good.
Pretty okay.
It's like he nailed it. I got a 2-pack on me and he nailed it. But I remember I booked tickets to Hobson's last show before his Funk Volume group broke up. It was in Adelaide, and we got meet and greet tickets. And we were at Glenelg having just a lunch and a couple beers, and opposite where Nando's used to be.
Yeah.
And I looked and I was like, it's fucking Hobson just walked past me. And then Dizzy Wright just walked past me, and I'm like, what the fuck? And my missus, or like, no, I wasn't with my missus. I was with my friend Letitia, and Josh was there, and there was like a group of like 3 of us or 4 of us, can't remember. And I was like, I'm gonna do it, and they're like, no, they were like, don't do it, and I was like, I'm gonna go.
Sick.
And I fucking ran into Nando's, and I was like, oi! I didn't even say hey. I was like, oi! And I just pointed at my leg tattoo, and he's like, that's you! And he remembered it, and I was like, this is the best moment of my life. But I paid like $250 for a fucking meet and greet ticket. So like 5 hours later, I had to be like, hey, again. I was like, I could have saved the money. Yeah. But it was so cool.
That was just chance.
But that was my claim to fame. Oh, that's all right.
Sorry, Sam.
Actually, Sam's got to come on soon too.
Has he been on yet?
Not yet. I got to organise. He's so busy with tattooing, and he's moving into a new house and shit.
Sam gave me my first tattoo and the last one as well.
Really?
Yeah. My first one, just an outline of like an elephant. Because I was like, I don't really know what. So
That's
just an outline. Yeah, I think it's sick. And then gave me my nose doing Emmanuel.
Your nose?
It's a nose. It's like a nose manual. Which went on to become... Which went on to become one of my signature board graphics.
No shit.
So it's like...
Do you have your own board line?
Yeah, I've got 3 graphics out at the moment.
Do you buy do you just use them yourself, or do you sell them?
I personally don't. It's for a company I ride for. So
it's
for,
cool.
Like Elan.
Oh, so they make bulk. They'll make bulk and sell them.
They do that. He does, like Andy Walker, who runs it.
Yeah,
it's just a.
I'll get one for the wall.
I'll give you one.
Yeah, I'll get one for a wall because I want
There's a few different ones.
I want a couple things to put when I organise a different space. I want to like deck out the wall with a heap of shit. But I love a good looking skateboard. There's some cool. Eric was showing me his room of all of his decks and shit.
It's insane.
It's the only reason he has MV2.
He's obsessive.
Of the shoes. The shoes.
He's great. I try and sound like we're not as good of friends on camera, but
the shoes. It was like walking into a fucking museum.
Yeah,
it was insane.
So for a little while he rented another house, sort of in Shido Park area. I helped him move from where he is now to that rental. We were pulling shoes, Eric, and we were pulling shoes out of your ceiling. It was insane. Boxes of shoes. What he has now is like nothing compared to what he had then. Yeah, and clothes and skateboards that he never used. And what else did you have, mate?
Just hair ties.
I'm trying to channel him. Hopefully he answers. He'll ring me. I had this too.
We're going to get both of you on a pod. I'm going to buy another microphone next week because I have a lot of people that I want to interview together.
Oh, it makes it heaps funnier.
It would, because then I don't have
He'll burn me. Then it's too much.
Then it's more me just sitting back and having a good time.
Yeah. Oh, he knows way too much. It'll be great.
Yeah, I've got to do one with Eric again soon. He's such a fucking good dude. But yeah, that's going to be a good one. Hey, Josie, you loving that? You loving that? I wish I could get Bruno in here. He'll fucking knock down the camera.
Oh, he's a good boy.
He is a good boy. They get such a bad rap, Roddies, but they're very good dogs.
He's cuddly.
He is very
when
cuddly.
When he got off of me before when I had to go to the toilet, he nearly put his paw on my bladder, and if he did that, it would have been all over. Sorry, I would have peed on your floor.
They can. Oh, it's alright. It's not the first time. It's not the first time that would have happened.
He's a good boy. He's big though. Like he's a full size Roddy.
When you get a dog from a puppy, you just get so used to him. So when I see Bruno, I see him as a medium-sized dog. Like, he's just a biggish dog to me. But, like, he's big for a Rottweiler. Like, he's a pretty big boy.
Oh, he is.
It's his head. He's just got a really big head. He fucking, I bit my tongue in half because of him.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, like, legit. But you
can still talk.
Oh, I got stitches all here.
Can you see him?
Yeah,
there's a bit of like a wrinkle.
Yeah, so fucking it was horrible. My missus, one of her friends was down from Melbourne, and we were going to get Pizza Teca, you know that pizza joint, and I sent her and her mate went there, and in the meantime, I don't know what I was doing, but I was coming off my bed and I was bending down, and for some reason I always go like this with my tongue, like it's just a tick I have, like I bite my tongue, and I bit my tongue. And as I was going down, Bruno jumped up to go on the bed and cracked me under there. And all I remember was my whole face going numb. And I was like, oh my God, all my teeth just fell out. So I was in my bedroom. I rushed up. Meanwhile, I opened my mouth. I'm pissing blood all over the walls, like spurting blood because I cut my tongue in half. But I thought that I ripped all my teeth out. So I've gone to the bathroom and opened my mouth. My tongue
off
was not joking, not exaggerating. The meaty part was dangling down, like it was in half. And I rang my missus, but I couldn't talk. So I was like, "You gotta go home now." And she was like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "You have to go home now." And she was like, "I'm down the road. What's going on?" I'm like, "I bit my tongue in half." So she's come home, and I'm like, my tongue's like it was fucked. I could not talk. It was swollen. And she's like, "You have to go to hospital." I'm like, "No, I'll be alright." And anyway, I'm losing heaps of blood. And I was like, just putting it off. And she's like, "We have to go to hospital." So we went to fucking hospital. Noarlunga, never ever going there again. I went there. They put me in. They put the fucking anaesthetic in my mouth. And they're like, "Can you feel anything?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, I can still feel it." They're like, we're gonna have to stitch it now. So they're stitching it and I can feel it. It's not numb yet. So they're stitching my tongue up. I think they put 12 stitches in my tongue. And I've come back. But the issue was they didn't monitor me after. And I can't breathe through my nose. So...
Like at all?
Nah. Oh... I can't.
You need to get that fixed.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
But so, my tongue swelled up that much.
I
couldn't breathe because it was blocking my airway. So I had to fucking, call an ambulance. I think I got an ambulance from the Noarlunga. And then they hit me with the morphine. And I was like, I've never had it before.
And everything was good?
And I was like, this is pretty good. But then I was in hospital for I got pictures on my phone. It was gnarly. It was so... I always injure myself in the worst. I made myself blind for 2 months.
All right. I know... Can you just elaborate a little bit?
On that one?
Yeah.
I'm
way too interested.
Really, really, really stoned at my fiance's house in Seaford. And I told everyone it was from like a fighting injury. I told everyone I got eye poked in the gym. I did not. I bite my nails, so I have really jagged thumbs. And I was fucking stoned or I was drunk, and I was like flexing and being a dickhead to my missus in the mirror. And I've gone like this, and I've put my thumb straight into my eyeball. Ugh. But because I bite my nails, I scratched my cornea.
Oh, mate.
And I went to the hospital and they're like, I couldn't look at natural light for like 2 months without getting excruciating pain. So I had to wear an eye patch for like a month.
Well, we had my mate's 21st at our place in Moana. We used to live on 3rd Ave. When we first moved
Third
up.
Ave, there used to be
we were
some
on 3rd Ave,
parties.
little crack shack. Was it 36? I can't remember the number.
A lot of cool parties,
Proper.
1st, 2nd and 3rd Ave.
We had heaps on 3rd Ave. And we had his 21st there before we moved back onto 3rd Ave, just like the other side. So we lived there twice, which was sick. And he was, like tequila suicides.
Mm.
Like...
Fucking gross.
Snort the salt.
Gross.
Lemon in the eye.
So gross.
He was doing a lot of those. And then his eye was obviously already like kind of agitated, but I don't think he thought anything of it at the time. And then there was this girl there that I don't know if he was rude. I wasn't actually there at the time when it happened, but he did something, pissed her off. And she's picked up a bottle of something. It was like 151 or something, like Bacardi, and thrown it in his face and got in his eye. And it burnt off the top layer of skin on his eye.
Jesus fucking Christ.
He spent the night in hospital getting his eye flushed for his 21st.
Dude, I still
and a
have...
little bit of it in my bathtub, and he was crying.
I still have sharp pains in my eye every now and then because of that. It's weird as... Like, it was... Every time I injure myself, it's at my own fault.
You seem to have this uncanny ability to just hurt yourself in full-on ways.
Oh, I'll fucking...
I know that much about
you. When I was a kid, I used to like launch myself off of balconies and do like a backflip, or like...
No wonder.
But like my knees and all that would hold up, but then I'll be drunk and I'll be walking or something, and I've walked through glass doors before, just dumb shit like that. Just real dumb shit.
Just existing.
Yeah, just existing. like the other day, I can't remember what I was doing. I was like shadow boxing, being a dickhead. My missus was on the bed and I was just being a wanker, and I was shadow boxing, and I threw a hook and I just smashed my knuckle on my dresser, and I was like, for fuck's sake, like I just always cane myself.
Mate. Like when you catch the hip on your high side of a bench or something, and you're like...
You just want to end your life.
I on the day before my 25th birthday, I stubbed my toe vacuuming. My pinky completely shattered it.
What?
Like vacuuming, and then stubbed my toe on my bed.
Oh.
Day before my 25th, and it was the worst fucking thing. I mean, it's just a toe, but you don't realise how much that shit hurts until you do it the first time.
Would that fuck your skating?
Yeah, it sucked. So
because you wouldn't be able to flick your foot.
I don't think I realised how bad it was until I rocked up for work on a Sunday. This is, I was working at the shop still on Sundays at the time, like an MV2. And I skated down from the car park, which was behind, like the car park, down to the pavers. As I hit the pavers, the vibration going through it, all of a sudden it was just like, what the fuck?
Toes and fingers are pretty fucking shit injuries.
My pinky toe right there.
It's horrible. Like that finger there. There's a video of me on Facebook. We were playing footy, just like marks up. We were playing down there at Hackham, and like I went to go grab the ball, and my mate punched the ball into my finger, and I didn't feel it. And then my mate was like, "So have a look at your finger," and it was over here. And there's a video on Facebook, and the only person, my mate Botros, he has impaired vision, so he can only see out, as I understand it, he can only see out of his peripherals.
Okay.
So when he talks to you, he kind of looks at you like this. Out of everyone, he's like, I know how to put it back in. And I was like, really? And I was like, okay. So he grabs my finger and I'm like, wait, where did you see this? Because I've seen it heaps on movies and shit. So he like rips my finger and he straightened it up, but it never grew back properly.
It's pretty wonky.
Yeah, it never ever grew back properly. Fingers and toes and shit just don't though.
Nah.
They never grow back properly.
Once they take a big boff, that's it.
Yeah,
They're like,
it's
yeah.
over.
There was one, another skate one, not a terrible one, similar sort of thing though. Came off on just doing a grind on a ledge and fell over and put my hand down and it sort of like dragged my hand across the ground and my finger, pretty heavy. And I'm like, oh, that hurt. And my finger was just, now since then, I've completely stretched it. I can like bend my middle finger. It's like
what
a full party
fuck?
trick. I can, yeah. And since then, like it kind of stings, but it's been that long that just that finger, nothing else can do it. But, you know.
Yeah, right.
Just bends a bit further.
That's fucking hectic.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't know. It didn't turn green or anything.
I do have a mate that oh, that's
trick.
fucking gross. But one of my mates completely degloved his
Like wedding ring thing.
little toe. We were training at the gym, and we were done, and he was like, come on, he was being a dickhead, and he was like grabbing me, he was like, come on, let's wrestle, cunt. And we were doing it, and I spun him one way and he spun another way, and his toe was inside the mat, and I spun him and he spun, so his toe came off. But we were sitting down in a circle, and I looked at my mate Chris, and he was fucking sweating, and he was doing this to his foot, and I was like, what's he doing? And I looked down, his bone was 100% bone. There was no meat on it. His little toe, his bone was sticking up like that. It was like a cartoon. His whole nail and the meat of his little toe was hanging, and he was in shock. So he was just touching it, he was sweating, and Miles and all that, we were all sitting around, he's like, oh, you need to go to hospital. He's like, it's all right, guys.
I fucking love Miles. He's great,
He's like, it's all right. So Chris grabs a plastic bag. He wraps his foot in a plastic bag, puts a sock over it, and then takes himself to the hospital, and he's sending videos of them stitching back up. They stitched it up a bit wonky, so it's a bit on an angle now. But he got it back. I'm so surprised he got it back. I've never.
That's a pretty serious injury.
I've never seen anything like it. It fully degloved. Like the whole bone, no meat on it, was just sticking up, and his whole toe was hanging over the side.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, it was fucked. But he was in so much shock, he just couldn't feel it. Was it
bleeding out?
No, it wasn't bleeding. There was nothing to bleed. It was just a bone.
That's insane.
It was like a cartoon. It was like you just cut a perfect circle around your finger and just take the meat off. It was so crazy. Never seen anything like it.
Make me feel sick.
Do your children skate?
Lou, my eldest, Lewin, he's riding.
Did he just turn? Is that the one that just turned 5?
No, he's 8.
Oh, all right.
8. So I've got an 8, nearly 7, and just turned 5.
Nice.
But the elder two, so Ivy and Lou, they skate a fair bit.
Does it scare you? Or you love it?
Oh, you know, like...
It'll scare you when they start doing crazy shit.
I have this weird... Like, probably. Like, I'm more, like, try and be proactive with it. Like, hey, look, you can do it. I'm not going to stop you. But you're not ready to do this yet. That's more how I approach
that's the
it.
benefit. That's the benefit of their dad being a fucking professional skateboarder.
And
like, they can have that advice.
Teaching it.
Yeah.
Like, just whatever, for how many years being a skate nerd. I'm like, oh, you know.
It's like when all those people were arcing up at Tony Hawk when that video of him skating with his little daughter came around and they were doing that crazy half pipe shit.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? He would put her on the board and he'd ride, and they were doing some like pretty cool shit. And it's like,
who would you rather do it with?
That's the thing. Him on a board is like me putting a child in the car with me.
Yes.
Like, it's the same risk. Like, because there's no one better. Like, there's no one more competent to do that.
If you don't feel safe with him, you're not going to feel safe with anyone, right?
Yeah. And like, your kids got more chance hurting themselves walking by themselves than being on a fucking skateboard with Tony Hawk. But that's just people trying to be outraged.
That's it. And, you know, like, I know this isn't a good example, but remember the Steve Irwin one with Bob? And he had the crocodile in there?
You used to fucking play with crocodiles.
I still am like, I wouldn't put my kid with a croc, but I'm not that. But who would you rather have your kids in with a crocodile?
Mate, when we went to
right?
when we went to Queensland, we went to Steve Irwin's zoo. That place is fucking phenomenal.
It's cool, hey.
Have you been?
I went last year when I went to see my brother.
Did you go to the Crocoseum?
Yeah. Got to see
Did
their
Bob
little
do the show?
No, Bob wasn't there.
Oh, Bob did our show, and he is just a fucking splitting image of his father.
Yeah.
And Bindi was
I
like...
think he's a good bloke.
We were talking, and this girl walks past us, and it was Bindi.
Oh, cool.
And me and my missus were like, "It's Bindi. That's so cool." And she was playing with tiger cubs. And then we went to this other place, Mulaney, and it has a bird aviary. You can play with these macaws and all this shit. And all of them are Steve Irwin, like the Australia Zoo people.
Like the showbirds.
Yeah. And they all fucking hate Bindi.
That could be a sign.
They all hate her. Apparently she's a cunt. But apparently
To
Bob...
birds?
No, just to everyone. But apparently
okay.
Bob's really cool. But Bob seems like he's a weapon. I proposed to my missus at that zoo.
Yeah, I reckon he's Australia's new sweetheart.
Oh,
I'm going to call it Bob's
he's
the new...
a legend.
He's the new sweetheart of Oz.
He's a legend.
I want to see him, and it will actually make me watch it, I reckon, doing like... what are the ones where you go on to get married?
Farmer Gets a Wife, something
but like the Bob series.
Bob doesn't deserve any of these hoes. He needs to find a nice farm
But I'd
girl.
watch it.
I'd watch it.
If Bob was on it.
He's too nice. He's so sweet. He seems like just such a sweet dude. They own fucking hundreds of acres of land. That is such a big business. When I proposed to my missus, we did a cheetah experience. So I paid for this experience where you get to play with the baby cheetah. You get to, not a baby, like a cheetah, like you can pat it and play with it. It was like $500.
Friendly thing.
And I rang the bloke and I was like, "Oh, can I propose to my missus while we're doing it?" And he's like, "Is she gonna scream?" And I started laughing.
Good question, though,
I started laughing and I was like, "Well, I don't know." And he's like, No. If she screams, the cheetah might kick off." And I was like, "Oh, I don't fucking know." I was like, Yaz isn't that much. She's not a girly girl, so I don't think she'll scream, but I was like, I'll take the risk. Anyway, we go there, we sign the forms.
Life or death situation at this point.
Well, I've paid for the fucking ring, so she's getting it. So I signed the forms, and on the forms, I'm reading the forms, no grazing. You're not allowed to pack grazing animals or anything beforehand because you don't want to smell like a fucking goat.
Yeah.
And so we're chilling. An hour or two goes by. We're almost ready to go there. I turn around. I've lost Yaz. She's in the fucking petting zoo with all the grazing animals. She's basically rolling around with these fucking goats and lambs and shit. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, "Oh, this bitch is gonna fucking die while I'm proposing to her."
I'm gonna lose
and she
her today.
she thinks I'm just in a bad mood because I'm being a sook. And in my head, I'm like, "You're gonna die." And I'm like, "Wash your
I've got
hands."
the ring out.
I'm like, "Wash your hands, just sanitize yourself." And like we were sanitizing her, so we went there, patting this cheetah, and I'm like, I popped it out, and I'm like, "Don't scream, or the cheetah will fucking kill us." That's exactly what I said to her. And she goes, What? Get it off me. She thought there was a mosquito or a bug on her. She hates bugs. So she's like, "Get it off me." And I'm like, "No." And she's like, "Oh, yes."
That's actually a phenomenal story.
But yeah, that was fucked. That zoo's amazing. But cheetahs are weird. You touch them, and the black spots are a different texture to the fur.
Really?
Yeah, if you shave a cheetah, their black spots are like a fingerprint. Every single one's different.
What's it feel like?
The fur is like a bit wiry.
Bit more like a tuft?
Yeah, but the black spots are real soft. But if you shave them, the black spots are on their skin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
you
it's
can
like
see them no matter what.
It's a fingerprint. It's like a fingerprint, but they're just like big cats. This thing though was like 45 kilos
of cat.
It was smaller than Bruno, but it was as tall, and you could just tell if this thing.
That's frightening.
Like it was a bit at first.
Like
I was
Bruno, if he was angry, that'd be scary. But...
Oh, he's fucking he jumped through my window not too long ago. Like that's why when I told you to come, like I come out the front because if people knock on my front door, he'll try and break it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's really weird with the front door for some reason. I don't know why, but
Just
I'm glad for it. I don't
or...
need. No.
Oh,
he'll get you.
Off.
Like he'll try and get you. But I don't know what would happen if the door wasn't there because he's such a pussy.
Okay.
Like I used to have gardeners, and I'd give them the key, and they'd come in, and he'd run out the back and he'd tip over the laundry basket and hide under the clothes. So I don't know if he's just tough
It's kind of
behind
adorable.
the wall. But, like, yeah, he does it. For some reason, the front door just triggers him, which I'm happy about because then I don't need a security camera and shit.
Yeah.
But
I've got a big tough dog here.
yeah, I've got a big tough dog. But then if you get into the house, she would be more likely to bite you.
She runs out.
Oh, she's always... So when me and Yaz come home, we come through the garage. She'll be the first to greet us at the door. Bruno waits in the kitchen to see who it is. And then he comes out.
You're the brave one, are you,
She's
mate?
the brave one.
Oh, that's epic.
Yes. All right, mate. On that note, do you have anything coming up? Anything exciting?
Yeah, I'm flying out to Darwin on the 2nd, doing a bit of a skate trip, film for this Elam part. So hopefully my goal is to make, I guess this be my opus clip. So this will be the one, so far so good. Been filming for a little while, so make this the one.
Yeah.
Other than that, doing my studying my youth work stuff and trying to make a difference out
And
there.
people can hit you on Instagram for all your shit.
Yeah, I'm HeauBinge.
HeauBinge.
Spoonerisms are my thing, so I like to swap the first letters of
HeauBinge.
things, and that's what it was, and it stuck.
Nice.
So HeauBinge all the way.
I love it. I love it. All right, man. It's been amazing talking to you. That was heaps more fun. That was good, heaps more fun. That was good English.
I feel like I learnt a lot about you, which I'm stoked on. That was fun.
It's good. No, it's good.
You injury-prone man, you.
Yeah, I'm fucked. Yeah, but it was awesome talking to you, man. Thank you.
Thank you
Legend.
very much.
Boom.
Perfect.
We'll talk soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Boom.
See ya.
See ya.